well, let's see what happens. Oh. Hello. Is it all open?
Yeah, it is.
Bloody hell. Wowzers. I know.
You're right.
Wowzers. I think I might be standing. I've got a good view of the
Two
table.
councillors who resigned coming?
I don't know.
I would hope so.
I don't know. It's three.
Or three.
I don't know. I don't know.
I feel that strongly about it.
I've never seen so many people.
Obviously the paper got it wrong. There's not that many here.
Normally, it's just me. So this is you could, yeah, you.
I bet if we mention housing development, everyone would come, wouldn't they?
Sorry, I'm pretty better stand.
Don't worry, we've not got the rotten veg.
Yet.
It'd be in his regalia.
You are?
I thought it'd be in all his regalia.
Wow. Really?
Did we bring the gear? Not many. Not many. Come on, Keith. Plenty of room at the front, Keith. Yeah. Right, at the top table. At the top table. That's right. It's not contagious. That's right. We'll all be getting a pen. I haven't been in this room since I used to come in and pay the rent to my mother in a little book. That was about 50 years ago.
Was this the colour room? Was it? Was this?
Yeah, as you come in, there used to be a block used to come in.
Oh, okay. Huh. I like the safe. I was pretty. Came in, yeah, a couple of weeks ago I came in, the safe door was
Is that
open.
with £1 million quid?
I went in and had a look.
Did you find them?
It was 118, wasn't it?
But it's in the accounts. It's not missing. It's in there somewhere.
Where?
But they can't, because it's all in one lump sum. They don't. If you got a good. If you had a good auditor, they'd find it. The paper trails.
Well, this is what we need. We need a good auditor. Find it.
It's in there, but because it's all lumped together, no one knows where it is. All you've got to go back is go back to the account when the property was sold, and they tell you what bank account it's paid into.
That's what needs to be
It's
done.
not
Isn't
rocket
it?
science.
That's what needs to be done. It needs to be done.
Good evening. How are you? Oh, yeah, you're right. Oh, yeah.
From Wales, who's who of Town Council. There's so many of them. I don't know all their names. Some of the names I sent you yesterday, 3 of them are here. All right, Eric.
Hello, Rob. Does anybody want an agenda or copy of the report, please?
Please.
Share it. Is that right?
Thank you.
Well, I might have to.
We can share it at the back end, can't we? Between the 4 of us. I can't turn the page. See, the good thing about this is being able to zoom in and then pausing it to read when you watch it back. Come on then, next page. Yeah. Come on, next page. I'll read it back on the. Bloody hell. Come on then, next page. Read it properly afterwards. Although they might go through it and read it as that. Just get it away. Hello. Is that the last page? Where is it? I think every seat are 2, 3, 4 seats. Where is it?
Do we sing God Save the King first or something? Oh, right, okay. I'm not used to all this pomp and ceremony.
No, that's better from the back. Yeah.
Thank
you.
Yeah, yourself. Or a boss by himself. Can someone speak or say something? There you go, they're coming by the bus routes now.
Wow.
And the police. Yeah. All right.
Right. Copy the report. Anybody else?
Oh, we'll take one with. Thanks, mate.
That's good. So really,
Not too much.
It's on the wall. And am I down right there?
That's the worst place to have it as well.
It should be down there. It should be at the table.
It's not the hundreds what they thought. The press would be saying there's hundreds turned out.
Well, it's amazing.
Is it?
Yeah. Honestly, every time I've come here, it's always been me. So this is quite a big turnout. This is a very big turnout.
Oh, under there. Emma, did you bring some muscle with you? Not saying you're not the muscle.
I've been in this job 16 years, and I'll be the muscle.
Taser, dog.
Fully cleared out today.
Right, the last minute has clicked over now. So now 6:30, so I'll open the meeting. Thank you for all coming along. I will point out Claire is filming the meeting, so if you're happy to be filmed, you can move further back or Claire can come forward.
They're all facing you, mate, so don't worry about
That's
it.
all right. Well, thanks for the very private thing. Okay, the first item is apologies for absence. I think that's just Councillor Heinrich. And second item is any declarations of interest that people will be in. The agenda's slightly the wrong order. The next item is will be the opportunity for you to speak. Up to three minutes a person. recommend you to extend their period if you all want to say something. Yeah, that level.
Extraordinary.
I'll propose we extend that. All in favour of that? Okay. Over to you people. Who would like to start? Nigel?
I'd like to know why you've got so much money in your bank account for, and why you're not spending it.
Well,
And is our levy going to go up?
no, I don't think we'll do. That we'll respond to the various points afterwards, but if you'd like to make the points now.
How can we comment on something we don't know the full story of? And we move the agenda item around, which means that we can't comment on something we don't know the full story of.
Well, the reason for that was because then we can take into account what you said in what we vote to do. If we have our meeting first, we'll agree what we're doing, and then we're commenting on something we've already agreed to do.
I mean, I'm not a councillor, I'm not a committee member of mine, it just doesn't make sense. It's like putting the cart before the horse. I don't know anyone else shares that.
Yeah, must I agree. I'd really like to know, does the council accept this as a whole? I'd like to know what your opinion of this before we have a comment. Now, do you have an action plan? Is it accepted as? Is there anything challenged? Otherwise, we're pretty much shouting in the void. We don't really know what we're talking about.
Well, speaking for myself, I think we accept all the comments that have been made. We have got, we've made comments against them in conversation to produce an action plan to do that, and some of those will be dealt with at future council meetings or future finance committee meetings. So, yes, they're all valid comments. We can't criticise those.
I know what's on the agenda for Wednesday's meeting, but the agenda has changed slightly, in as much as you're not directly discussing the suspension of the clerk, but discussing a staff matter.
Well, that's probably the same. It's the same thing. But,
Why the subtle change?
Point of order, not relevant to this meeting.
no.
Okay, not relevant to this meeting.
Well, then why is it taking so long for all this to come out?
What, for all this stuff in this report?
Yeah, all this report. Why has it been
Well,
found?
I think a lot of these things are sort of habits or culture that's been in place for many years and just rolled on. And we've never sort of stopped and analysed ourselves to do this level of self-audit. So having, I'm grateful that Wendy identified some of these issues and then discussed that at the finance committee and got these people in to do an audit. Obviously, I'm not pleased with so many items on it, but they're all valid comments, some of which we might have thought of ourselves, some perhaps the things we wouldn't have done. But that's the reason why it's been done now. And then, as I said, I think we accept all the points. Some things can be fixed straight away, other things will take later in the year or whatever to develop some of these things. I mean, all of these things have potentially increased the risk to the council's finances, but there's no suggestion at all that anything has actually been any negative effects of that, that our money or accounts or have been put in risk. We haven't actually suffered because the shortcomings in our processes.
So it's been the professionalism of the clerk that's raised all these issues. And yet, it's been put up for suspension.
So that's a separate item.
Yeah, I know.
Some of that, Robert, at the back.
Well, what happens to the money that's spent on these screens for the Barclays Bank and the Town Council offices to advertise a website? 2 smart TV screens that were bought that were supposed to be opened by the old town mayor last March. As a publisher in just North Walsham.
Yeah.
What happens to those screens? That's public money you've got to spend there.
Well, we've only got one of those screens. We didn't buy two.
Two were bought or discussed and agreed by
Yeah,
two.
we actually purchased one.
Where's that screen then? That's public money's gone missing.
It's upstairs. There's a part missing from it, I believe. Is that right? Which we're waiting on, but then it can be installed.
I have to get
don't license them in NDC, so it's not just as easy as popping it up.
It was agreed last March and it's published in the newspaper to come meet your local councillors as we unveil the TV screen at Barclays Bank, which is now being done.
Can I ask, is the finance officer qualified for the position?
She's got her filter qualification.
She has.
So why did you pick this up previous?
Well, she's currently off ill at the moment, has been for a while.
For 4 years?
But no. The current person has been in place for a year, 11 months.
March 2024, she qualified.
Yeah.
So therefore, she's been qualified since March 2024. She's been signed off sick since June 2024. And a lot of the items contained within this report actually go back well beyond 24 to 23 to 22 and beyond even that, which would then cover the actions or the non-actions of the previous 2 or even 3 items.
Yeah, as I said earlier, these things, a lot of these things go back a while.
Sorry, can I speak?
Yeah.
She went off sick in September after the internal audit was done, September 24, but she was our finance officer before she became our RFO, our responsible finance officer. She's been working for the council for 4.5 years.
But she wasn't qualified.
She wasn't qualified. No.
That's the question that was
She
asked.
got qualified in March.
So how come she was employed then if she wasn't qualified to do it? That's my question.
Did you hear the question?
Yeah, so, she was appointed in January when she was part qualified and completed her qualification in March, I believe, is that correct? Yeah.
Given this has been going on for so long, there's obviously been a total failure of governance that's gone through here. What confidence can you give us that whatever plan you're going to put in place is going to be actioned? And what visibility do we have that things are being corrected, and how can we participate in this?
We'll record whatever our agreed actions are in our minutes, and I think it'll be a standard agenda item on the council meetings for the next year or whatever it takes to do those, so that we'll be reviewing progress, ticking things off, or
And that plan will be visible, so we can track progress and see how it's going.
I mean, we're not hiding anything on this. Obviously, that's why
No,
we put
sure.
this out in the
There'll be
public.
an agenda pack which is on the website for each meeting.
Yeah, so this table of 30 odd things will have a report against each item each time. But it's obviously important to get it right, and as I said, some of them are quite easy things to fix, they can be done in the next weeks, other things will take longer.
So speaking about getting it right, do we actually know what the balance is of uncommitted funds that the council has? Because as a colleague over there said, whatever, presets due, how can we set a preset when we don't even know what we've got at the moment?
I think we know what we've got. I think Eric can speak on that.
I'm the Chair of Finance. I inherited this position in May, came on to the council in March. In terms of the preset this year, it's followed the previous years, there was no increase in the preset. In terms of the forecasted balance, when we set the preset last month, it's somewhere between £500,000 and £550,000 we expect to have in the bank at the end of March. That figure is something which councillors are conscious of, and it is money which just shouldn't stay there, but should be part of the programme of expenditure. And one of the priorities of the council will be to identify projects within the town where that money could be used. But I can't deny that one of the concerns that arose when I became chair of the Finance Committee was the absence of regular forecasting reports. So the council was not in a position to know by the end of those situations, then you end up with those kind of balances. But one of the things we have done, and this was recognised very early on, was that if we're carrying these balances at the moment, then we should have it in bank accounts, which is attracting the highest possible rate of interest. And that's why now we've already moved something like 160,000 into 5% bank accounts rather than 1%. And there's another 100,000 which we've agreed to be moved into a higher rate, 4.5% to 5%. But I can't deny that these bank balances are too high. It's not good.
I appreciate the position that you found yourself in as well.
Yes, I can't say it's the most comfortable position I inherited.
Indeed.
Thank you for your transparency on that. Given that you're anticipating the 550,000 at the end of March,
Could be that, it could be 500,000, could be 550, could be.
and yet, if I understand you right, you're not yet sure what the project will be. Why are you anticipating a rise in the local council tax?
The town council is not.
It's not. Right, okay.
But you've got to remember the precepts are set by three councils. There's the town council, in which our amount of precept is about 2 to 3p of every pound that you pay in council tax. The county council will be increasing the precept this year. About 75% of your council tax goes straight to the county. The police take another 15%. I imagine they're increasing the precept this year. And the remaining 8% goes to the North Walsham District Council. And I would imagine that they're going to be increasing the precept this year. But we are not. Thank you.
Can we have a refund? If there's so much money, why can't we have a refund?
Well, if we can't, that's going to be a matter for the council.
I think it's a fair point to raise it with the council.
Yeah, it's a matter for the council, and ultimately, if we can't find suitable projects, that becomes a possibility. But I think what you've got to remember is that even if we didn't have a precept at all next year and use this money, you would still see a significant rise in the council tax because of the position of the other authorities in the police authority. The advantage that that money gives us in the town to find suitable projects is that it can be spent on the town, whereas the opportunity to attract money from the other councils into the town, given their financial constraints, is not very good. So if you want to improve the town with various environmental projects, or improve the roads, or street lighting, or anything else, then the town council will have to make a contribution.
I would say one of the big projects which will come on in the next few years is a new cemetery, because the cemeteries in town are nearly full. We are looking at a site which I can't say where it is, but
I think everyone knows where it is.
Yeah.
definitely several £100,000 or whatever to develop that. So I think a chunk of our reserves could go on that. Robert?
If the council's sitting on this money, why are we asking local groups to fundraise so much money to build new play parks and new stuff for this town? Why aren't the town council actually paying up? Why is it individual community members having to spend their time fundraising and putting big events on for this town to help?
Well, that is one thing that the money could be spent on.
We've got this money in the bank. The park needs some work done to it. Shouldn't be the community having to fundraise constantly.
Can I just answer that? The town council, this was before my time, before I came back, but certainly in somewhere around 21, 22, it did bid for and successfully get funds out of planning improvements to go to play equipment in the town. It's why trackside got completed, both in terms of the equipment and also the skateboard park. Because under that scheme, there was well over £100,000 that the town clerk at the time got through those planning agreements. It could well be, but now that we've got a clearer picture of our finances, that one of the things that the options that's open to the council is to think about helping more to complete the programme of play equipment and other community activities.
You should also say that a level of reserve is required by law anyway. It's not all of that money is spare money. You have to have a certain amount of money there to cope with emergencies or.
How much is that, Bob?
I think
It's about 4 months of annual expenditure, so that's about 150,000. So of the 698,000 which was in the press, well, some of that is money to be spent for the remainder of the year. But of the 500 to 550,000, we have to keep about 150,000 in a reserve, and we're required by law to do that.
Yeah, it's just a little bit, you know, that dreaded website, Facebook, when you see it, someone put up a GoFundMe page to keep the Christmas lights on over Christmas, they need £500. And I think when the town council's sitting on so much money, it would be nice to fund something, as you're talking about local communities, fund that. It's like parents are really struggling at the moment, but it always seems to be put on the public to keep coughing up for things. When the town council is sitting on so much money, it's really frustrating. And I think the other thing, I might as well say it while I'm in full flow, I've got 2 young girls at home, and I think basically the town council should be ashamed of themselves. They're like rats in a sack fighting all the time. It's disgraceful. You should be ashamed of yourselves, all of you, for what you've done to this town. Disgraceful. You get no good rolling your eyes and shaking your head on the end. When it's all in the paper and stuff. Yeah, when it's all in the paper, my girls say, "Oh, what's all that for? Why are they all this?" It's disgraceful. It really is. We're meant to be setting a good example to our younger generation, and this is what we get. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I'm not disagreeing.
How long has the council known about this huge reserve? And when they did know, why was it not thought to be questioned at the time or beforehand that what can we do with this money instead of keeping it in the bank and watching whatever interest accrue on it?
Look, when I joined the council in February or March, and I saw that one of the first things was to try and ask myself how the council arrived at this position. And I don't think a precise answer can be provided, other than it shouldn't have arisen, got to that position. And I think the fact we've done this audit report, which we commissioned, it wasn't done at the behest of anybody else, we commissioned it. And it's a public report, so it's all in the open. And having found ourselves in this position, the job really now is to sort it out and to come up with a programme of work and expenditure. Trying to find precisely, digging back over the years, why it wasn't out earlier, you could spend an enormous amount of time on it going over. That gentleman up there has talked about why not we keep the Christmas lights on, and well, you know, where we have to be looking, rather than spending a lot of time trying to fathom out in the past why some of this happened. We need to actually get on down. Now that we've got the position clear, we need to get on and look forward.
But surely there are people who are here in this room now, or those who in the past that are responsible for this cock up. Are they being brought to task? The population of this town needs to see that justice is being done. You're working forward, fine, everyone's going to agree with that, but somebody has to be held accountable for why we're in this position now, whether it's one person or more than one person. You can't just carry on with people that knew exactly what was going on prior to you rejoining the council and say, okay, well, we'll forget about what's gone on in the past, we'll just move forward. You can't draw a line under it like that. Somebody has to be held accountable, and it has to roll. So,
You learn from.
I can't say much more than what you just said. Is for other councillors to build and we need to answer that. But clearly, if there is a major financial issue, fraud, or anything of a criminal nature, then clearly action could be taken. Some of the councillors who were involved over this period of time are on the staff and no longer with us. So it's very little you can do. But all I can emphasise is that so far in the audits that have been done, no fraud, no theft, and no financial transactions have taken place that would lead the council to want to report it to the police for criminal
I think
investigation.
that's the answer that a lot of people are actually waiting to hear.
Right, well, look, since I've been here, I've crawled over all these accounts as much as I can. I'm not the only one. We've had certainly 2 auditors in now. We had an internal auditor, a new internal auditor that we've appointed. Because if you look at the report, the previous internal audit, there are questions to be asked, but that person is retired. So there's a new internal auditor now, which should give us much better internal controls and auditing. And it should also mean that now that we've identified this situation, we can actually move forward. I think I would probably speak for all the councillors. If any fraud or theft comes to our attention, we won't hesitate to report that to the police. We're all volunteers. We're not like governments. We don't get any allowances for this.
Sorry, can I say something? Because as a new clerk coming in, I've been clerking for the last 6 years, 7 years. Obviously, I highlight all this because I was a finance officer, not FO, before I came clerk here. That I have gone through the accounts. As far as I can see, they've just been mismanaged. So they've not been put in the right boxes and things. So I will be going through all the accounts. The money from the cemetery lodge, it should have been ring fenced and earmarked, and it hasn't been. Some of the money was spent on the compound. I think 45,000 of that was spent on the compound. I think the rest of it is in an earmark for the new cemetery, because the sale of the cemetery lodge can only go on cemetery things, or it can only go on the compound because it's within the cemetery. So I can confidently say that I don't think there's any funds gone missing.
Yeah, I say unfortunately, one of the other people mentioned that Facebook, for example, where
Yeah,
rural
that's the trouble,
control
isn't it? It does
just
get
explodes
distorted
and
and
that-
things,
it's just
yeah.
hearing it literally from
Yeah.
the horse's mouth,
Yeah.
that's where we're at. Thank you.
And I may, if I'm okay to, I may put something out on our Facebook page or our website to say that we've confidently checked. If that's okay with
I think
council.
something needs to be put out because the rumour mongering has actually stirred up a hornet's nest amongst the populace. A lot of people have come to this meeting with misconception of what exactly did happen to the monies that went on the lodge sale of £118,000. And it was only yesterday that the councillors present received an email from the mayor informing us that it was all above board and it was actually sitting there in the accounts but not labelled correctly. And that is where a lot of the money, somebody asked earlier about £500,000. Earlier on this year, the Finance Committee undertook an internal breakdown and investigation themselves of the accounts. And a lot of the money they found was actually ring-fenced and highlighted for projects that were either cancelled and forgotten about, or delayed and then forgotten about, which is why we've got the balance that you've now been informed of today.
Well, someone's leaking it to the press because the press have got detailed information.
We know exactly it's been relayed to the press, and I can politely say in an email I sent out to all councillors, it can only have come from a councillor or a member of office staff, and if only we could actually point the finger or get the person to step forward whoever it is, the wooden spoon has very, very certainly been stirred in the last 7 to 8 days, and it should never have been done. If the EDP wanted a story, they should have gone to that man there. They should not have listened to gossip that's been released on social media, which has then been broadcast to all of Sunday, and it should never have happened.
No, there's
and it's wrong.
Yeah.
Because you, me, everybody on reading that in the EDP went, and I'm a councillor, I went, what the, excuse my French, is going on here? And I dare say you said the same.
Well, it's made it elsewhere. It's all over the country now.
But I know it's gone wild.
And the damage to our town is.
But I'm glad that Bob, and Eric, and Barry, and Wendy, and everybody that's been involved have actually knuckled down and actually got to the bottom of the fact that rumour mongering does nothing but upset every single body reading the story, and it's got to be stamped out.
If the council should statement to rebuff those.
Yes.
I'm going to do that tomorrow.
Could I just ask a question about the Memorial Park and the fact that it's a charity? Could I just ask the town clerk or the financial, is the money that's raised for charity ring fenced in the accounts?
No.
You see, the Charity Commission would pull their hair out. They'd go nuts if they knew what you were doing. You would have your charity status withdrawn, and I know a lot about Charity Commission because I'm involved with them myself. It's just not acceptable to have a registered charity and not know what money is raised in the name of charity. The population of North Walsham contributed to that money, amongst others. They would be horrified. Thank you.
Well, that is a project that is already.
Yeah, can I reply?
Yeah.
I have done a memorandum of understanding with the solicitor. I've instructed the solicitor to do a report, so, because at the moment we're double counting, so we're giving the figures to the charity and they're also included in our accounts, which is not correct. So I've been to the solicitors, I've got my memorandum of understanding coming through so that we can go to Charities Commission and do a zero report because we can keep the funds in our own account, but they will be ring-fenced. We'll have a separate accounting programme for that charity to keep it completely separate.
Well, that's good. The other thing about the charity is that if you're not spending that charity money, the Charity Commission will also get very upset with you because you should not have charity money, which you don't know what you got, sitting in a bank account, not accounted for.
And it doesn't have any great balance in there. Basically, it's the rental from the Poppy's nursery building, and that then gets used to ground maintenance of the park, grass cutting and the like. So it doesn't. I'm not sure we make a net profit or
I don't
anything.
know, we have an account which we're trying to get access to, because I can't access it at the moment, and I just need to find out how much is in that account and close it and put it back into our account, because that should be for the running costs of it.
Yeah, if there is any surplus in that, then that one could go to play equipment and the like. But in general, the maintenance and the income more or less balance.
Can I just say, and going back to what Eric said earlier on, the charity was formed in 1964, and it's been running that way since 1964. And only now are we now looking at changing that.
I mean, it was first alerted to this council that we weren't doing this properly in June of this year. Barry's absolutely right. I'd served on this town council history between 2007 and 2015, I think. I can't ever recall, there's somebody else, you were there, I can't ever recall it being raised. We could be criticised over all of those years for nobody picking it up, but the simple fact is it wasn't. It has been picked up now and it's been corrected.
Well, with due respect, I would say that that could be down to the fact that councillors haven't undertaken external training in these matters.
Look, there's a responsibility on both the councillors and the council officers to ensure that we adhere to the required standards. One of the things we have to accept as a result of this audit report is that there hasn't necessarily been at council level the overall scrutiny that perhaps at times there should have been. one with the Memorial Park, it's buried right, it's just gone on for years and nobody's picked it up. Successive councillors and clerks have not picked it up.
How was it picked up this time? May I ask?
Because, we had, correct me if I'm wrong, Wendy, we had, somebody in providing finance training to us. And they said,
I think I alerted you to it
Well,
because
because
I've run
it- I can't-
charities before.
yeah,
So I knew that had
but
to
it
have
was
it
alerted
sometime.
around that time, yeah. But now we've been alerted to it and it's been confirmed to us by two auditors since. And that's why it's been given the priority that it is.
If you go on the Charities Commission website, you will see that we are 360 some days late in doing our report, and that is because I'm still looking into it. I can't find money that's in this quote. We've got to change all the bank signatories and things, so that will be reported on that we are late.
Do you know that our IFO's off sick at the moment?
Yes.
So we're relying on town clerk to pick up that role at the moment as well. And somebody was saying something earlier about suspension. Sounds like a bad idea unless she's actually stabbing people in the face. I think we need some stability.
Yeah. Can I just ask, is the town clerk partly qualified in financial matters?
I've done my AAT and I've just got one thing of my silver to be done. I've got 6 or 7 years experience and I clerk for other little small parish councils as well.
So another thing, you said there was a failure of independent auditor that was retired or something. This is obviously going to cost us money. They would have been insured. Are we going to be chasing them for the insurance and they're not doing their duties as an independent auditor so we can get some money back from that?
They didn't charge us very much.
Doesn't matter. They're costing us a lot. But they should have been insured.
I just want to know, do you all get trained with all the changes of the laws? Because everything we've said has happened in the past, but you're only now dealing with the things to the changes. So are you all updated with the training of different laws?
Well, we all do have got training, I suspect we probably need to have some updated training, which I think is one of the recommendations in here. I think sort of routine councillor training probably doesn't delve into the fine details of financials, so we need to.
Because you said about 1964, why wasn't that done? Why has it taken all these years for it to be noted and you changed the laws?
Well, I know that's not a change of law thing, that's just it, this was out of sight for whatever reason, but,
yeah, but it shouldn't be.
No, obviously the makeup of the council changes quite regularly, so there's not any one person, if there's people come and go.
Yeah, but why aren't you all looking into all these different projects?
Well, that's not a project.
Well, you know what I mean, why aren't you all looking into things that have changed and changed them?
I think when the law changes, we do get advice on that from the national bodies, so I think.
Now council tax is paid, you can't be cut, so why should it come out of your town council?
Well, that's paid for largely by the income from the rental of the Poppies building.
So what I've done this year with regards to our budget, and our budget will be on the website for you all to see. That was only finalised last week, that was agreed, so you can all see our budget. I'm completely open and transparent with you all. I have put, like, from the preset, I've put an amount to go towards the park for the upkeep of the park, and the rent that we get from Poppies will also offset the costs. So it will be run, I'll try and get it run properly, so as it should be run with this separate accounts package that I've got for it, as it should be.
If it's a surplus there, that has been previously mentioned, I'm sure the council will then want to reinvest that surplus back into the park.
Are you able to explain what the problem is in relation to getting at this money which you can't get at? Like you said, there was some...
Yeah, it's it's quite a difficult form to fill in. I've got signatories on there that have not here anymore.
Yeah.
So we're having to fill a big form in.
There's a time frame.
There's a time frame. I'll get that done
Yeah.
within the next week or so.
Okay.
But I will put on when it's done. I'll bring it back to the meeting, and that'll be a report that will be on our agenda pack, so you can see it. You just need to keep an eye on the website.
Robert?
Well, I've got a question. So it's been made clear tonight that the RFO is off on sick. The town clerk just said she's not qualified, so how do we have faith that she's qualified and this town actually got the faith of town council? Because there's a lot of money going missing, a lot of money talked. But you've got an RFO off sick and the town clerk who's still doing her silver.
No, it's qualified in accounting.
But it's not not qualified as town clerk then, so how can this town sit with
I
unqualified
can
town clerk?
have 12 months to do my Silca training.
Should I ask a question?
It's 1 year away, so it will be finished.
But how long have you been in position in this town?
Yeah,
Oh,
come
it's a
January.
But you're saying about
But
money.
the trouble is, we have a general power of competence, okay, so we have to have 2/3 elected. At the moment, you're 5 councillors short, so you won't have your general power of competence unless those 5 councillors come in and they all get elected. So you have your general
Okay.
power of competence until 2027 when there's a next election.
Right, next question. Why is it taking this long to fill these 5 positions?
The co-option positions.
Alright, there's still been 2 that sat empty for the last,
Yeah.
how long?
Well, we agreed that we would do a skills audit amongst the existing councillors to see what skills were lacking in the councillor team. And once that was completed, then we now advertised for the co-option post. The idea being that, if we get 10 people applying for 5 places, we need some means to select the right people, and if we've got someone with particular skills that we need, then that enables us to do that.
If anybody wants a co-option form, just email me and I'll let you have one. I'm going to bring some down. If you want one tonight, I can go and get you one.
We've got a timescale that you're looking to get this. When we're going to get an action plan, how you're going to categorise it, how you're going to do it. We've got some criticals. What are we working to here?
Well, obviously that's what we'll go on to discuss in a minute, but I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, Eric.
Well, I think there's 2 components here. First of all, there's got to be a real commitment by councillors in overseeing role that they want to sort this out and they want to give it priority. That is a council level. The second thing is that there's got to be a resource backup, which is that actually there's the necessary work to be done in order to not only have an action plan, but to remove the shortcomings and get us reaching the required standards. So those are, in essence, the 2 things that we've got to do. And as long as I'm chair of finance, that's where I would like to try and position the council as soon as possible. I don't think what needs to be done is rocket science or that complex. It just means that those 2 components have to be in place.
There are some things that are more on fire than others in that. So
there are certain things that certainly looking at could be a bit more concerned, but some of them are in the process of being corrected. So apart from going into higher interest rates accounts, which is one thing we've done, the budget setting process was not compliant with our financial regulations and standard orders, let alone good accounting practice. Quite a lot of that has changed when we set the precept in the budget this time. There is more to be done. We're meant, for example, to produce 3-year forecasts. I don't think he's ever seen that. It's all good accounting practice. It's all might seem a bit obscure to a lot of people outside, but if you're going to run a tight financial ship, you need to do these things. So we are making progress, but one of the things that emerges when you don't do these things properly is that money, for example, from the sale of the building which has caused so much comment, if it's not actually properly accounted for, very easily you trip over into a situation where people think money's gone missing and it hasn't. So that's why it is important that we do things properly, and council with the required standard or would like us to be, it should be easy for any member of the public that's got an interest to go onto our website and see exactly what income we're getting and what our expenditure is and what we're holding in reserves. And in those reserves, what they're for.
Do you think it's time to have a whole new town council? As we've all done so great. Maybe it's time for a new.
Well, we can only have a new councillor if we all resign. Other than that, the next general elections are in 2 or 3 years' time.
Yes, I think that the thing that concerns me, and I guess I don't necessarily speak for everyone here, but I'm sure a lot of people think I am, is that it seems to me as if the staff, given that you've got 2 people on sick and been on sick for some time, that they're working in an environment of hostility. And that is not good, that you, staff, or anyone, I would suggest that the councillors look after your staff and care for them in the way that you should be, not creating an environment of hostility, which reading the press and this report, you obviously are. And in that respect, you should be ashamed.
Do you have any wellbeing in place for your staff?
Sorry?
Do you have any wellbeing in place for your staff?
We have a wellbeing support that's done through our, we employ Krona as our HR support organisation, and they provide a service, a confidential chat and discussion service.
If I may, I'm a staff member. From what you've all read in the papers, it's a bit tumultuous. Obviously, it's a difficult working area. I work up in the office, and I would like to say that I've had minimal contact with any of the councillors, and I would have expected, with all of this going on, some help, some support, even just a how are you. I know that people aren't happy to hear this, but this is how the staff are feeling. I have sent out a statement, a letter to everybody, which I know people were quite dismissive of and weren't very interested in. I was referencing the staff's well-being. So, yeah.
We have policies that say a councillor should be appointed to look after the wellbeing of staff.
Do you have one?
Well, the council should have appointed a person to look after the wellbeing of staff, especially the 2 people that are off sick. And then reports should go back into their staff files. I look after my staff's wellbeing as much as I can, but councillors need to take responsibility for that as well. They are the employers. I'm the line manager and I do look after my staff.
So how are you taking that forward?
Well, to say we have external support, which I know is used to some degree. Well, obviously each of us needs to be more actively involved. There are some councillors coming into the office quite a lot, and I come in quite a lot. Other councillors, some are at work or have other commitments, but everyone needs to do their bit clearly.
Will any statement you make up after this meeting to either the population, to the press, include other words, sorry, or apologies?
Yes, I'm sure, yeah.
I think that'd be in the press tomorrow by who's in the room. So.
We're not proud of all these defects that are noted here, but we hold our hands up to them they are failings of the council, and yes, obviously we apologise to the town that it's in that position. Robert?
How often are your policies updated and checked? Because I've heard that quite a lot recently, that the policy is outdated or needs looking into.
Well, policies are reviewed every May, or other times if required, but every policy is reviewed every year.
Going back to the question on wellbeing, I have it on good authority that in the absence of the council appointing somebody to look after the wellbeing, our town mayor has been in contact with the two people that have been off sick as recent as yesterday. And he's taken that upon himself as and when time permits for him to keep in touch with those people that are on sick. And I believe he's taken it upon himself to carry this role into the office as well, until such time as another councillor is appointed to that role.
Can I just ask one then, what support is the clerk getting, considering she's under the threat of suspension?
The main support for the town clerk at the moment is Bob, his wellbeing for Wendy, as far as I'm concerned, is what I'm hearing anyway. As for other members of the council, I've got no idea. I've just returned from long-term sick after major lung surgery, and this is only my second meeting since I've come and given clearance from my surgical consultant.
Shouldn't you all be helping each other?
Sorry?
Shouldn't you all be looking after each other? I'm shrugging your shoulders.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure.
It's not one person. You just try to justify why you're not giving her support, because
I'm
yes,
not
I'm
sure.
sorry, I'm sorry you were sick, but
you've got to bear in mind while all this has been going on, I haven't been privy to what's been going on.
You don't get your emails.
Sorry?
You don't get emails, general
A
emails.
lot of the stuff that you're talking about doesn't go out to general emails because of the data protection.
I do not sit down with a member of council and fill forms in about wellbeing. I just don't know I today.
And after being that great, I think.
What, me?
No,
Point to
no,
me?
no,
They don't start pointing your finger at me.
It's fine, because it kicks off.
Yeah, don't be threatening.
That's fine, watch this. Watch this. I don't take threatening behaviour. Right.
So why is it now?
I don't take threats. I'm sitting in front of me. Take it in, I can do it. But no threat.
It's calm now.
One who been named the papers, one holding the practice and raffle. And then the other three.
Not external. Maybe for an interesting record.
That's her husband. Town Clerk.
Oh, right, okay.
She doesn't like to answer some questions.
Right. But they found that she's like the nurse and everything else. She's not working that job. She's qualified. Can't qualify, then lose her job. Especially when you've got
Yeah.
So it's all been there,
Yeah, I think there's a plot of land somewhere, so I think maybe on Waitrose they're going to use. That's all right. They're not taking slots at the moment.
Not it looks.
I thought I was going to have to become a referee.
I thought, all content.
I get a YouTube page going up even more.
Well, the thing is about inclusion. People that can't make it right, they can watch it online. Just what they do.
Well, that make them laugh as well.
Yeah, I went to go to that, but it didn't really happen.
No, I'm there, sort of uploaded up.
Because you thought it would have to make it more public.
Well, you thought they would put posters up as well, wouldn't you? I mean, they can't. And it's the same too again. Yeah. No, but I've said to them for a few months because I've come and talked to them as well. But I can't that's just like any other
Well, kind of. I don't think it's 100%. She's still got damage, which they won't take liability. I still need to kind of take it further, but I've had so much training. See my well-being,
I met some quite unusual
Right, we'll now move on to the discussing the audit report, or deciding what we're doing. I don't know what. Well, Eric, did you think it'd be useful to discuss item by item, or in general? I think we probably accepted all the actions on there. We could prefer the detail actions to finance committee, perhaps.
Well, it's a matter for councillors. I mean, some of this is purely processing. Some of it is personnel and training. Some of it's governance. Quite a lot about reporting and how we deal with reserves. There are some small number of areas which specifically relate more to how finance at the officer level we were dealing with things earlier this year. I think my suggestion would probably be is that if councillors have got any particular questions or queries on any of the 37 items, tell me there is. If they want to raise them between Wendy and myself and anyone else, we'll try and answer those. But that might be the quickest way to do it. Otherwise, we sent out the comments there of what we think would be an approach. And if members are happy with that, then we can proceed on that basis. And if somebody's got questions or particular concerns or issues, then I think we should answer those first and then try and answer them.
So, any specific queries from the councillors? Lots to read there, but Eric and I had a chat about them and came up with that list of potential actions, which obviously each of those is going to need some detail behind it, but I'd be happy to propose that we accept those and delegate the relevant bits to the next full council meeting or to the finance committee to develop the action plan. Right.
I just want to read this out just to remind people where we are.
Yeah.
And this is the outcomes from the forensic audit. The entire control environment of the council is not in compliance with good practice at start 2024. However, it does not appear that any council money was misappropriated.
I confirmed that earlier, didn't I?
I think that's very relevant to remind people.
I did remind people earlier.
It's just closing some gates off, which could potentially be a problem, but aren't. But as Eric said, a lot of these things are things that within a couple of months can all be bottomed out. There's one or two that might take longer, but they're mostly easy wins, provided we've got staff to action.
Yeah, I think what Mary just said is very important, and it's also clear in the report we've started to make improvements, but we've still got a long way to go, and I hope in your answers, Clark answers and my answers tonight, we've given you some reassurance of that we are starting to make some progress, but we we've a lot to do, and I want to get them. I'm sure all my colleagues do. And I can only emphasise once again that this audit report, we commissioned it, we didn't make it somebody else. Yes, the clerk was backing up concerns, but as councillors we took it on board, and the whole council unanimously voted and supported doing this audit. So there wasn't any backsliding on anybody's part.
Okay, well, I'm happy to propose that we accept.
Have you actually made any comments in regards to the item identified as planning comments? Planning comments, which is on page
Next full council will set up planning issues to the full council agenda.
Right.
We only get about 3, 4 maximum a month, don't we? So there's no reason why they can't go on the full agenda.
We really rarely have any, that we make any comments. Obviously, you really get the big things like the Munster Road development and the like, and they are a specific meeting.
The reason I mention it is because of the Munster Road, where we had quite a lot of people from the general public in here wanting to know what was going on and the whys and wherefores of exactly what powers or not powers that we had. Because there wasn't that many coming through, and I think it was in 22, the planning committee of 6 was disbanded because nothing was ever happening. And then if anything did have to come through, it was subject to emails, which has been pulled up on here. They shouldn't be doing that, but we're not making decisions. All we're doing as a council and to council through the town is making recommendations from the town to NMDC, because all decisions are ultimately made by them. We can only give them our opinions.
So can I just say, you should be making a recommendation, so you should either be objecting, non-objecting, or making the thing. So each application, you should come to a meeting and decide whether you're not going to object, whether you're going to object, and what comments you make. So we should report on each and every one of you, and the council should make a decision and vote if they don't want to object. And that's how it should be done. And then we then go back and Jasmine will probably send off. The council voted and no objection was raised.
Can I just say, there was a point at which I suggested reinstating this for exactly this reason. I was told it wasn't necessary, but clearly there is a need. It may be that we don't need to have one every month. It may just be ad hoc, but it is something I still feel should be in place.
Well, I think we'll add it to the full council
agenda.
Because we're meeting anyway, aren't we?
If we go out of time, I can ask for extensions. We can always ask for extension. If they say, well, it's got to be in a certain time, we can say, well, our council meeting is this date, can you have an extension on that, please?
I got a bit of worrying it's a full council, because some of these planning applications that are going to be coming in the very near future are rather large, and they're going to take a lot of discussion, and therefore our meeting, our 2 hours for a meeting is going to go past. So as Stephen remembers, I was against the planning committee being disbanded.
Correct.
And I still believe it should be restated.
If you have a planning committee, there's only a certain percentage of councillors making those decisions. So what you would then do is have an extraordinary meeting, if it's a big one, and have a full council, because all councillors should report on their planning applications.
Historically, the planning committee was the full council.
Oh, right, okay, well, that's the same thing, isn't it?
I do think it needs to be a separate meeting. I
I've
think
always
to
said
do
that.
it all on full council meetings. We've had one recently that went on forever as it was.
Well, that's very unusual though.
Yeah, we don't want
bring that to the
more of them,
attention.
so, you know,
Excuse me, Chair. I think it's important for us and for everybody in this room that we've got dates by all of this. So we're going to put an action plan in place, we need dates when we're going to achieve things, and we need to challenge ourselves against those dates and review it every time we meet to make sure that we are.
Yeah, so there'll be a regular agenda item every month. Obviously we can't put dates for everything now, but that's for the next council meeting and the next finance meeting to produce an action plan.
We can't put dates, we can put a time limit.
Well, yeah, target.
We could say 6 months, 3 months.
But there needs to be some time that we can check ourselves against, so give people, you know, the confidence that we're actually doing things with the timeline.
How about I propose that we put these all in place by the end of the council year in May? That gives us 5 months.
Ellen Green from doing the number said that may take longer than that to get some of these things
Most of
in
this
place.
should come by then.
Yeah, most of it should.
We ain't got town clerk.
What ones do you have resolutions about?
Training, we can't get training all done by May. Some training we can. I can only get training when there's a training plan, a training plan up for that one. So we can't get everything done by May. We might be able to get somebody out to do full council training. I think I did ask for it to be compulsory for all councillors attending full training, especially full council training to how to be a councillor and code of conduct. And I got told we can't make it compulsory, we can just make it advisory. That's right, but I believe it should be compulsory for councillors to do their role.
At the end of that report, let's say, I said at the end of the council year, if we, with the training issued, we should have a calendar of when training is available. And even if at the end of that report we say, well, this training can't complete until June, July, at least it's on the report that we've got the dates for it.
We use now we do training, which is the National Association of Local Councils. We also use Norfolk Parish Training, so we'll probably use both of them so we get around the training.
Well, can I then suggest that we accept the action plan as circulated, but at the next meetings that a timeline is put to those, we do a monthly report on those showing progress, and the objective of doing most of those things by the end of this council year is May. Yeah. Penny, all in favour of that? All in favour?
Sorry, I'm a bit thick, but I don't understand. Are all new councillors fully trained now then? No, so why have you been trained before you become a councillor?
As soon as you're a councillor, you should go for councillor training. I put full council training that we had with a trainer coming in here, and there's still councillors that didn't come and that aren't trained. And code of conduct training, and there's councillors that didn't come and haven't done their code of conduct, and they haven't, for their.
So how often do they have up-to-date training then?
We should really have it up every year.
Do they?
Well, if they're not signing up for it, why are they still councillors then?
Because there's no powers to make people train.
Could you publish?
Well, put it to
the powers, public.
Yeah,
Put
it to the community.
So why should we should know then who are in our town and not qualified. So I could do it then.
Yeah.
You could go be a town councillor and get training.
But I've got no experience.
No, but you'll get your training when you come on. That's what we're doing the training for.
How long will that take? The training?
An evening. Just an evening. It depends what training one it is.
So why are people not turning up for it then?
Because some of us work 6 days a week and evenings, so we can't fit in to the one that's available, so we'll wait for the next one. So, we're all volunteers and we all work, so it all fits in with everybody.
I appreciate that, but you still have some background of.
The background is that we want to do the best for the town we live in.
All this money,
Yeah.
No.
And you're saying all the laws haven't been changed till you've got to do it now. So you've all sat there knowing that nothing's changed, but you're now deciding to do it because someone's spoken up.
That's because we didn't know that this was ongoing. It was only for
If it's some of you have probably been on there a long while, why hasn't it been looked into?
If I'd have been doing it that long, then I'd have been chairman when it was first coming out. And,
If you know what I mean.
well, what I'm saying is that this has only just come to light.
If it's someone new in the past.
Well, I don't think they did, otherwise it wouldn't be where it is now.
Well, if it hadn't been brought up, how long much longer would it have gone on for?
Well, it's like something else, if you don't know about it, how can you correct it?
That's because they've got a very knowledgeable, experienced clerk.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
Can I just say, well, stars isn't the public bit now, is it?
No.
So that should mean we have.
No.
No.
So,
I was only asking if you all.
No, sorry, but the public bit's finished and now we're on the meeting.
Yeah, but I'm sorry, but.
We gave time to answer the question.
excuse me, I've closed the meeting, the formal meeting now. We can have some other conversation with you after that, but we have to finish the public meeting first.
The public meeting?
The council meeting, sorry.
So our next meeting is on Wednesday, and then the full council meeting again, which you're all welcome to come to. It's no meeting. It's on the 17th of December at 6:30, and there will be an update.
What's the one on Wednesday?
So there is part of the public, and then it will go into closed meeting.
Why does it have to be a closed meeting?
Personnel matters are.
If members of the public ask for it to be open, you should consider that.
No, you can't, unfortunately.
You can. You can consider it. How many here would like it to be an open meeting? Hands up.
Yeah.
The majority, Mr. Chairman, would like that meeting to be an open one.
You seem to have two different views, so you're saying it can be open, you're saying it can't.
We can have comments asked.
We have one at a time. We have one view at a time.
Mr. Chairman, on the question of your time, I accept that you can do the majority of those things in the next 5 months. However, there's one thing that's a really burning issue for me, and I guess should be for you as well. You have an RFO and a head groundsman who's currently on long-term sick. Are you not waiting until the end of May to ratify that?
Ratify what?
Well, to accept that, or leave them on long-term sick?
We can't control how long they're sick for.
Well, have you actually got anyone from an HR to go and sit with them
So it's not really something we should be talking about because personal issues are confidential.
No, I don't even know their names, so I can't do that. I'm just asking you, you said trying to at the end of May, get most of these things done, or I'm not out of hospital training. Surely you're not going to let someone who's absent and off long-term sick to stay there until such time as they come back.
Absolutely. We're covering their duties with other people who are doing additional hours and the like, so we are.
Sorry, Mr. Chair, that's less than acceptable.
Bit like people's illnesses, you can't predict that, can you?
Yeah, thank you very much, everybody, for coming along.
So you've got the councillors getting ready to go before it's actually.
Is Wednesday got to be an open meeting? Is Wednesday got to be an open meeting?
Not the entire agenda.
Well, we'll consider it for the time before you come.
Well, no, we're here now.
There is a public part of that meeting though, isn't there?
Well, Mr. Chairman, you have a proposition of meeting to make that part of the meeting.
Just say the meeting's finished. Keep arguing.
Oh, Jane's granddad. Jane's
Excuse me, you did that piece on EDP, didn't you? So, did a council come to you with that story then? Because you quoted Councillor Shires, so I imagine you actually spoke to her.
Well, I found out about sort of like rumours about what's going on in town. So I spoke yeah, we kind of heard that something was going on, then to call people up to know what was going on.
Okay.
Like most things, we get wind of stuff like, oh, there's something going on.
No, I just think they said that somebody gave the story out, either a councillor or staff member, and you quoted the councillor in that article. So I assumed that councillor spoke about it too.
Well, no, I mean, we had several people coming forward,
But you only quoted one person.
I can choose who I want to quote, it depends who I end up speaking with. Not everyone got back to me.
But she did.
Some people did, some people didn't. Depends.
It would have been nice if.
You were?
There's always a need for that.
Hour and a half.
Sorry?
Hour and a half. What's that? Yeah. Well, when you quote somebody, it's pretty obvious, isn't it?
Shit's there,
You said it. I'm going to have a little wander outside and then switch off. I'll be back in a second.
Okay.
Unless we're all now. Are we all now going?
That's Shane outside.
Is there another meeting going on in the...
Where is it?
I don't know.
Well, I thought that
No, I think that's completely gone quick.
Oh, okay.
Because questions started to get asked about councillors. So.
And then COVID came up. And of course, once COVID was hit, bang, everybody got divested and backstabbed the document.
You right?
Always have to stay internal. The things you've got nationwide database.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But we get will survive. Oh, I'm sure. Sharon knows.
Well, would we deem that an extraordinary council meeting?
Extraordinary.
I still can't believe they didn't put tea and biscuits on.
Yes, see you, mate.
Well, it's so hot in there as well, wasn't it? It's going to totally combust.
Seeing three, well, when this all came up, three suddenly decided to resign as well, so, you know, so it's a can of worms and it really shouldn't have done, it's just literally a bad accountancy at the end of the day, but, you know, public public knowledge that we don't know ins and outs, and yeah, I might know if we're spending the money and
But it's like you walking into that office and somebody's get on the because there was no handover between fees and entry else. There was no.
For the last few years, even Judy, she left before she came back off sick, so there hasn't been a handover for
one day to do a handover, and then Fee just resigned and walked.
But it is a lot of strings coming into a little pot, but they don't know where it all, you know. But there's no missing money. But everyone got upset because they think we've spent money or
somebody
money
actually listened to the rumours and put it on EDP.
Well,
I know who done it. I know.
I thought North Walsham was a lovely quiet town, but now it's sort of like. These are my nights out, you know.
I've got no doubt in my tiny little mind who released it to the EDP.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah. Thanks for your time anyway. Take care, bye.
I like the way you said that. What do you mean, dear?